Art is a cornerstone in our society. It helps us to transfer ideas and emotions. It does so in a variety of ways, three of which are writing, music, and illustration. Writing spreads ideas via the written word. Music spreads ideas via rhythms and rhyme. And illustration spreads ideas via pictures and patterns. Join me, Ian Crisp, as we interview three different artists to see how art has shaped our society. This is Tyler Ellen. She's a sophomore here at USC, studying for her degree in music. All right, so Tyler, music has such a grasp on our culture as it is. You hear music on the radio, you can hear it when people walk by with headphones in. So why do you think that is?
Well, music is something that we can all relate to, no matter where you are. Each type of music has a different emotion to it, and people can connect to it different ways, whether it be jazz or hip hop or something like that. The way you're feeling can be a result of what kind of music you're listening to, and sometimes it can even help your mood.
Okay, so it's determined by the person and by the mood.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So you don't write your own music?
No.
Oh, okay. So how do you put emotion into music that you're playing that someone else has already wrote?
You can look at it as trying to make your own story with the music, trying to come up with what's going on. You can imagine kind of like you're making a soundtrack for a movie, and you're kind of doing like a specific scene that you want to play for. So just think about like what's going on in that scene, like where it is, all of that stuff, and the music just kind of relates to all of that.
All right, cool.
Okay.
This is Evan Parada. He is also a sophomore here at USC. He is studying for his degree in English. So, Evan, storytelling and writing has become such a big part of our pastime here, across the world. Why do you think that people find these stories so relatable?
I think that calling experiencing a story a pastime is a little misleading, because it's been around almost as long as humanity has. As long as humans could communicate, we've had to tell stories for one reason or another, either to convey a message of, in tribal times, what was safe to hunt, where to hunt. And so storytelling is such an important part of the human experience in its entirety.
Okay. So one of the many parts of telling a story is emotion. Why do you think that plays such a huge role in telling a story, and how do you convey your emotions via writing to your reader?
Well, to answer the first part of that, emotions are such an important part of the way people read, because it gives context to things. But as for how I convey emotions in my pieces, I don't really worry about how I'm going to convey it as much as I do just producing something. Because people on their own are going to give context to something when they read it. And that's part of the complication of when people want people to feel a certain way. And so when I put emotion into my pieces, I just put how I'm feeling into it. And then however people feel when they read it is how they're going to read it. And there's nothing you can really do to control that.
Because people put whatever they want into it based on how they're feeling.
Exactly,
okay.
The whole self-insert mentality.
This is Professor Dylan Critchfield. He is an art professor here at the University of South Carolina. He got his Bachelor's of Fine Arts from Maryland Institute College of Arts, and he got his Master's in Fine Arts from the University of Indiana. So, paintings and drawing has played such an amazing part in our history as a race. Why do you think that is?
From the earliest period of man's history, they've had the impulse to create, and the need for some creative outlet. And I think part of it has to do with telling stories, and a sort of form of entertainment, a sort of diversion from the boredom of life or the difficulties of life.
As an artist, how do you put emotion into your works?
Well, in various different ways. First and foremost, I think color and atmosphere. Part of that is the edges of forms. I tend to work with a fairly limited palette, which results in generally a very dark feeling, something that feels very somber or solemn and moody.
So we've seen how writing, visual art, and music have affected our society. But there is one question remaining. What is it about art that transcends culture and language? So we turn it over to our interviewees for one final question.
Each type of art, like we're all a little off, a little weird.
It fully encapsulates the human experience.
Give the viewer sort of a window into my world.
Every art in some way contains the human spirit in it.
It's a way for us to be able to express our weirdness in a special way.
Once again, my name's Ian Crisp, and thank you for joining us today. Have a nice day.